Hello and welcome back to Sport Hub. In this video, we are going to talk about the situation regarding Daniel Ricciardo, Oscar Piastri and Mick Schumacher. So without further ado, let's crack on. So, Daniel Ricciardo's F1 future remains completely uncertain, but the good news for the Australian driver is that his services may still be sought after should McLaren instead pursue countryman Oscar Piastri. McLaren are facing something of a dilemma, with the highly rated Piastri angling to make his F1 debut, with the team having sensationally and publicly rejected his junior sponsor Alpine. Alpine, formerly known as Renault, offered Piastri a race seat for 2023 after Fernando Alonso made the shock move to defect to Aston Martin. However, the Australian publicly rejected the team which sponsored much of his highly successful junior career. Both McLaren and Alpine now find themselves in an awkward position, with Ricciardo firmly under contract for 2023 and, having publicly stated himself, he has no plans to walk away from the team. Ricciardo could end up negotiating a buyout with McLaren, with an exit from the team potentially in his best interest, after struggling throughout the first half of the 3-year deal he signed back with the team in 2021. Haas have emerged as a potential candidate for Ricciardo's services after ESPN reported team principal Günther Steiner had contacted the Aussie star during the mid-season break. Schumacher, the son of 7-time F1 champion Michael, had shown signs of improvement in 2020, but his progress has been dampened by 2 serious crashes in Saudi Arabia and Monaco. So what happens now? Well, honestly, I think Piastri will end up at McLaren and partner Lando Norris. Daniel has had a very tough time at McLaren since he joined after shocking quite a few people when he decided to leave Renault. But it's not all been bad for Danny Rick, because we must remember he is the only driver out of him and Lando to win a race for McLaren, because a lot of people seem to forget Danny Rick won at Monza. But why do they forget that? Well, it's quite simple. He's been fairly poor in pretty much every other race. In 2021, Lando got 49 points more than Danny Rick. He also outqualified the Australian 9 times, finishing ahead of him 8 times. And 2022 has got even worse, as Lando has outqualified him 9 times already and finished ahead of him 5 times. We're only halfway through the season. What has Ricciardo had to say regarding his struggles this season? Well, he opened up to Speed Cafe and said the following: "The competition is such a small 0.001% of a group. So to be able to not only be a part of that group, but to compete inside that group, that's a unique thing in itself," he said. And so I love that. The truth is, the highs you get are just so high because so much goes into it. Of course, you take risks. Like to win a race, for example, you haven't gone for a Sunday drive. You've put it all on the line. The team has. You've pushed your body mentally and physically. So then the highs and the reward is pretty amazing and pretty spectacular. Clearly, Ricciardo is still motivated, but that's not enough for McLaren. So yes, McLaren can feel justified chasing Piastri, but let's take a look at why they want Oscar. He started his karting career in 2011, having gone professional and competed in various Australian races and championships in 2014. In 2016, he moved to the UK to further his development, finishing 6th in the World Championship at Bahrain. He joined the British F4 Championship in 2017, joining TRS Arden Juniors lineup. He claimed 6 wins, 6 pole positions to finish 2nd behind Jamie Caroline. Another one to watch out for at the moment is Zane Maloney, but more about him in another video. In 2018, he took part in a post-season test at Abu Dhabi for Trident. He became champion in the Formula Renault Euro Cup at Abu Dhabi for Race GP in 2019. In 2020, he joined the FIA, he won the FIA Formula 3 Championship and winning the FIA Formula 2 Championship, joining an illustrious company of Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, Nico Hülkenberg, Charles Leclerc and George Russell as the only drivers to win GP2/F2 title in their rookie season. He also became the 5th driver after Hamilton, Hülkenberg, Leclerc and Russell to win the GP3 F3 title, and then the GP2 F2 title the following year. So clearly he is a very talented young driver who would bring an awful lot of competition to Lando once he has learned the car, how it handles and all the other stuff he would need to learn. But is Ricciardo finished? No. I still firmly believe Ricciardo has a lot to offer a team. He is very experienced and has won races before. Alpine could be an option for him, with Fernando leaving to join Aston Martin. Another is the Haas seat, but I'm not sure they could afford him. I'm not sure Ferrari would be too impressed with Haas chucking their academy driver away, especially with Ferrari supplying a lot of equipment to Haas. However, there has been calls for F1 to move on from the 8-time Grand Prix winner, with Formula 1 ace Ralf Schumacher tipping Ricciardo wouldn't find his way back into the sport should he fail to find a place in next season. However, he did admit that Alpine, who Ricciardo left to join McLaren in 2021, would actually be the most logical place for him to race in 2023. Schumacher said, "Personally, I can't imagine him getting another chance in Formula 1, but I wouldn't know who Alpine should take at the moment," he said. "The names are there with every cockpit." Mick Schumacher hasn't signed a contract yet either, so he will be a candidate with speed, as you've seen. Nico Hülkenberg is in the starting blocks. Ralph has said an awful lot of ridiculous comments since he hung up his race boots, and for me, this has to be up there with one of the worst takes he's had. Yes, I love Mick, but let's be honest, I don't think Alpine will go for him. If they want anyone to replace Fernando, for me, it would be Daniel Ricciardo, because whilst Mick is good and brings sponsorship, there are doubts over his racecraft, and whilst that can change in the second half of the season, at this moment, I think Daniel Ricciardo is better than Mick. And don't take Ralph too seriously on this one, as he is the uncle of Mick, so a huge conflict of interest there. And the Hülkenberg comment, well, yeah, nonsense. Again, I love Nico. He ain't coming back to F1. And if he did, would he really be that much of an upgrade on Ricciardo? Well, if you want me to be honest, no. This is just another example that not all former drivers make good pundits. Now, for my predictions, which is not as mad as Ralph's. Piastri to McLaren, for me, would be a great move for both Piastri and McLaren. Oscar has had a brilliant junior career, topping it off by winning Formula 2, and he clearly doesn't want to drive for Alpine. And whilst that will annoy them with the funding they have given, it is completely their fault for trying to keep Piastri, Alonso and Ocon, and actually losing 2 of them. But Alpine could fix this by bringing back Daniel Ricciardo. He has the experience of the team, and he is a big name, so they can still attract sponsors with Alonso's departure. And finally, Mick, I think, will stay at Haas. Yes, he has had big crashes at Monaco and Saudi Arabia, but he has improved in the first part of the season. Okay, that was a mouthful, but in all seriousness, Mick and Kevin seem to be a good partnership, and I think Gunter will keep them both. Well, that's a wrap for this video. If you want to see more content like this, then subscribe to the channel below. And if you want to become a member, you can. All the info is down below. Please leave your comments also down below and give us your predictions. Where do you think Daniel Ricciardo will end up? Do you think McLaren will get Oscar Piastri? Do you think Daniel Ricciardo will go back to Alpine? Or will there be a shock and end up being Mick Schumacher at Alpine? What is going to go on? Leave your comments down below. Don't forget we have This Week in F1 tonight at 8 p.m, so make sure to join us then. But until next time, take care and thanks for watching.